The problem with every single one of the people that I went to for help is that they didn't understand what was going on because none of them took the time to find out. Not a single one. Not one. The only people who pay any attention to this shit, do anything, actively do something, have been my predators. They've got a lot invested in it. Like, somebody calls everybody up that I make a video about and tells them. Like Kenneth Zarecki, for example. I didn't use his name. I just told the story. Then he saw me at Pump and Pantry one night and got a fucking attitude. Well, after that, his name was out. There's a woman named Summer who works at Pump and Pantry, and she has agreed to let me at 9 o'clock. She's gonna call up Molly Smith, and also, I guess, Dual County Sheriff's Department. And for my own safety, we are going to do it at one of the tables at Pump and Pantry. Um, it's not that I haven't gone to anybody for help. I mean, I made that recording of Aaron Stegeman yesterday. I said he's probably not going to help, but I'm going to ask him anyway. And I asked him. Well, he's not going to help me. He says, you should go in there on Monday when the courthouse is full of people. No, dude, that's not how it fucking works. I need somebody there in person, in the room with me when I do it. For my own safety, you fucking moron. Aaron, you're not my friend. That's pretty obvious. A friend would do something. Chris Stegeman, you're not my friend. That's pretty obvious. A friend would do something. Seven Black Swans, she sent me a message that says, let me find it. By the way, this is for you, Seven Black Swans. Oh, yeah. In the corner. Nope, that ain't it. Maybe on this one. I'm looking for the notifications. First thing I'm going to do is take this video here, call it a challenge to your God. I'm going to hit the pause button. And I'm going to share it to Facebook. Then we will have that cleared up and out of the way. Wow, it had to open up 3 tabs to do that. That's just a post to Facebook. All right. Now let's see what Seven Black Swans had to say. Notifications. Seven Black Swans commented on one of my videos. It's called Calling Stephanie Starmahia's Husband, Jose. And Seven Black Swans typed, I told you, Sean, don't send your money to people anymore. You need it and they just use you. Damn it all. And my reply was, ma'am, I need help in person. It costs money to travel. It doesn't matter if I'm the one traveling or if it's someone else. It still costs money. So, Seven Black Swans. I'm gonna, first of all, I'll attach a link to my PayPal, not that it makes any difference. But the first thing I'm gonna do is give you a link to my Facebook. Copy. Paste. That's my Facebook account, Swan. If you send me a friend request, we can discuss this. Typing it out is a pain in my ass. I know you don't mean for it to be, but it really is. I spent this money on the people who promised to help, people who told me that they would. That's what I spent my money on. Now, I did give the guy here who basically took care of me for an entire year. I gave him money for car insurance, and he spent it on his kids and on food. So, although he didn't get what he'd intended on getting with it, the fact is that he still did right with that money. I gave him another $400 right before Christmas, and I also paid him, I'm going to say $25 a month for 6 months for rent of a little dinky shed, and an additional $25 a month for electricity. Might have been $50 a month for each. I can't remember. But the thing is that until he was intimidated by the sheriff and the situation with his kids, he was the best to me out of everybody. Train. There's a lot of people that want to pretend I slandered their name, and I didn't. It's their words. They just don't understand what slander is. If you say it, and it's your voice that says it, you do not get to pretend that I'm the one slandering. That's your voice. Those are your words. Keep that in mind. Because I don't have the money for a civil lawyer. Anybody can do anything that they want to me at any point in time. It is further complicated by my disabilities, and even more so by the fact that I didn't have anyone to go in with me for my safety. When somebody is disabled and they need help, they need someone to go in with them. Elizabeth's line is typed, "It's not slander when it's said." They say slander when it's the truth. I guess I'm pretty tired because that sentence didn't make sense to me. Or maybe it's just missing quotations or something, because that can change it entirely. Quotations or periods or apostrophes, or where you put a comma. Anyway, this is mostly to address the thing that she had to say. Don't give my money to anyone. I need help. I need help in person. Why do you think I'm spending this money? I need help. Why do you think I spent all the money to travel to places where people promised to help me? Because I need that help. I sent Star that money because she was going to help me. And you know what? It's not like she didn't help me at all. The thing is that I needed her to not be all OCD about it. See, that's the thing. You can't help me if you're not listening to me. You can't help me if you are busy trying to get laid. You can't help me if you're tripping on mushrooms. You can't help me if you're strung out on meth. You can't help me if you're drunk. I'm now going to show you some of the screenshots that I took, because many of the police stations that I went to, they wouldn't allow me internet access. So I got to take screenshots. Then they say, well, how do we know that you didn't manufacture that? Well, you could allow me internet access and I can show it to you. That's the thing, is that I am easy to take advantage of because I am desperate. I am in a desperate situation. I'm not allowed to defend myself. Yesterday, when I was assaulted by Robert Warnick, you know what would have happened if I'd have fought back instead of going after my phone? He's a registered sex offender. He is protected by law. If I'd have fought back, it's his word versus mine. The word of a child molester versus somebody who's called mentally ill. By the way, mentally ill is a protected status as well, but it's not under the mentally ill status. It's under mentally disabled or developmentally disabled. There's paperwork that I had to fill out. Because of my developmental disabilities, it's difficult to do that without help. By denying me that help and repeatedly pretending that there's nothing wrong with me. See, that's the thing, is that they pretend that I am some nut job so they don't have to take a report. And then they forget about that when it comes to sentencing. That I wasn't allowed to make a report. None of my public pretenders gave a shit. One that I got now, he says that it's not his job to worry about my safety. Now, Meg, my autism advocate, she said, you know, the cops probably got what they got from watching your videos. And, you know, she's worried about her safety because of my videos as well. She has to worry about her family's safety because of my videos as well. Of course, that's difficult to show you now that my phone is broken. And I don't believe Meg is going to send me screenshots of all of our conversations. I need help in person, but nobody actually cares. Aaron Stegeman doesn't care. He doesn't care if I'm assaulted. He doesn't care if I'm shot. He doesn't care if I'm beaten to death. He doesn't care. 2 years ago, I spent Christmas with him and his family, and it was great. It was wonderful. It really was. Last year, I spent my Christmas in jail. You know, I didn't break the law at Clearview, and I didn't assault anyone. See, that's the thing, is that I let them know the consequences of putting drugs in me, and I let them know that I needed a cop. Every single time that I tried to turn in the police, they did screwed up shit like this. Either they blow me off, or they pretend that everything that I'm showing them I made up myself. I'm showing you the evidence. I'm literally showing you the evidence. Now, Elizabeth's line is there's two people who send me money on my PayPal. Elizabeth Linus and Elizabeth Foster. And I kind of get the feeling they're the same person. I don't know. Are you the same person, Elizabeth? I mean, not that it's everyone's business or anything. I'm just wondering. It's weird to me that both of the people who send me money are named Elizabeth, and it's kind of a back and forth. It's either one or the other. It takes a lot of money to hire a civil lawyer, and that's what these guys prey on, is that I don't have the money for a civil lawyer. No homeless person does. I exposed the Boulder police long before I exposed Waylon Lolatai, long before he repeatedly assaulted people. I continue to have issues with the police because of the assault by Waylon Lolatai and the fact that I was never allowed to defend myself. They broke the law to try to frame me for a crime that I didn't commit. Now, when we take a look at slander, what did I say that was slander when it came to Natalie Beer? Nothing. Elizabeth Linus typed yes, so I guess she is the same person. Thank you, Elizabeth. There's a lady named Summer that I talked to this morning, and I was kind enough not to record her. Elizabeth Linus types Foster as my maiden name. Thank you, Elizabeth. You have two accounts. She has two accounts. I made one account to try to beg Natalie to put a stop to it. That was the Guitaria's case account. I don't have access to that account. Now, apparently, in some of the court dates that I wasn't allowed to go to or was prevented from going to, that was entered in as evidence. That's a good thing. Because if it was entered in as evidence, I should be able to get access to that, correct? No, not without a lawyer. When I was asking these officers for access to their body cams, they say I can have it when I get a lawyer. I've been trying to get a lawyer. I don't have the money. When I do have the money, I have to spend it to try to get someone to take a look at this stuff, because lawyers don't listen to me. Nobody listens to me. I mean, actually, there's a lot of people that listen to me. There's a few people who watch my channel, but you guys don't come forward. For 7 Black Swans, right at the very beginning of this, I put up my Facebook account so that you can find me and send me a friend request. I'd like to speak with you and record it for my YouTube channel. You're absolutely right about not sending people my money, but I am in a desperate situation. I need help in person. I've been explaining that for 4 years. I need someone to go in with me. I need someone to look at this stuff and verify it when I go in, instead of the police doing what they do every time. I can't turn in my predators because they work together with the police. They conspired with the police to try to frame me for crimes that I didn't commit. And that ultimately resulted in me having to commit crimes to defend myself against predators like Robert Warnick. Christopher Kurth did some messed up stuff, but you know what? His brother said that he's not going to do that anymore. His brother talked to him and assured me that Chris is going to stop. Thank goodness. There are people in town who hate me. They're not going to send the cops any videos unless it's something that they can try to use to twist to have me harmed. Now, the cops keep telling me that people are calling 911 and trying to complain about me telling the truth, claiming it's slander. No. Those of you who have paid attention realize I've been posting up the proof for years. There are two videos that have a lot attached to them. I'm going to click on them now. Summer said that I can go in and have the cops do their thing at 9 o'clock at the back table. I would feel a lot more comfortable if someone was there with me, because then the police will approach it differently. They are less likely to use a harsh tone. They are less likely to get violent. If someone is there paying attention, anyway, at Pumpkin Pantry, that's not necessarily going to happen. The people who work there have a job to do, and they're going to be busy working. I've spent over $40,000 trying to get help. $40,000. I get $9,800 per year for my disability. And for over a year of that time, I didn't have my disability money because I didn't have help. I can't take care of myself. I can't function. And no matter how many times I say this, they blow me off and ignore it. I can't take care of myself. This is a recording device I got. And I gotta download what's on it onto my computer. It takes a lot of time to try to process just one of these, but I'm trying. A lot of your suggestions, they're great suggestions for someone who's got money. A lot of people keep telling me, oh, you just need to keep making calls till you get a pro bono lawyer. You really think there's that many pro bono lawyers out there that give a shit about homeless people? No. Every lawyer in America knows that a homeless person is just going to get railroaded. They don't care. See, lots of people care to talk about in general. We feel bad for the homeless in general, but you don't pick up any of their cases. Summer was under the impression that I was staying with my little sister, Tara. I don't know how she got that idea. Of course, I hear stuff all the time. Like, I heard this and I heard that. Polly Olson, she's one of the biggest pains in my butt right now. I've got recordings with her on this computer here. I don't know where the charger tip is. I think it's in my satchel or my man purse. It's actually a gas mask bag, but there's no gas mask in it. I just use it as a purse. A man purse, because it's olive drab. The thing is that without someone in person, which Meg, she can't, everybody has got some reason why they can't. If Miss Peach's boyfriend, Raja, if this stuff happened to him, she would go in with him immediately. She would find a way to go in with him instead of making excuses. First thing we're going to do, press the Y button. Oh, there's no backspace on that. And I don't understand why I put that little star there before the Y. Jesus, my back hurts. I'd really like to go to Wright. I think he's a better option, but also one of them is sooner and one of them is later. I've committed a lot of crimes that I'm trying to turn in. Why am I trying to turn in my own crimes? close up some loopholes. I'm trying to close up the loopholes that my predators were able to use against me. Now, they won't look at what my predators did to me. They don't care about that. They only care about me. Every time that Ted Bollinger does something screwed up with his kids, people threaten my life. I take threats against my life very seriously. Wendell McPhee, his advice to me was a lot different than what he would do. I asked him what he would do if somebody was threatening his life. He said he'd take it very seriously. I got to dig through hundreds and hundreds of audio files to find that, and then I have to edit it to put it on the internet because the cops aren't going to do their job. It takes actual work. And they're after free money. Cops don't work. What they do is not work. Brent Jepson, he's a former police officer and a former state patrol officer. And I have a conversation recorded with him. I'm not going to take it down. The first one here. Oh yeah, I need the keyboard. Pastor Rod Wright. Oh, that wasn't it. YouTube. Damn it. I have to click the YouTube one instead of the top one. All right. This is a 2-hour video. You guys are 2 hours and 16 minutes long. If you guys want to just scroll to the very last hour of it, that's fine. That's where most of the let's see. Revealing the law reveals the sin. Romans 7:7-25, March 1st, 2015, Pastor Rod Wright. Solid Rock Bible Church. That's here in Chapel, Nebraska. That's Floyd Stegeman's old shop on 3rd Street, right next door to the Foster Lumber here in Chapel, Nebraska. When I bought Chris Stegeman his AK-47, Cabela's didn't take the gun lock off of it. So it's funny to say this, but we drilled the lock off of an AK-47 at the Solid Rock Bible Church. It just wasn't the Solid Rock Bible Church at the time. Now there's, I don't know how many links on this. Let's see. Copy link address. In the live chat on the right hand side is a whole bunch of links to conversations with witnesses that show that I was telling the truth the entire time. That includes Laura Nelson, who's not friends with me anymore. But she should have told the truth. She should have gone in with me from the beginning. When you guys say you shouldn't care what other people think, people are harming me over what they think. Because I was never allowed to face my accusers. I was never allowed. Now these asshats keep trying to use the term mentally ill loosely to pretend that I'm schizophrenic, because then it magically justifies all of the wrong shit that they did. If an autistic person is harmed, they need someone to go in with them in person so that police don't harm them. The most likely to be killed by police out of everyone in America are the homeless, statistically, and that's per capita. There's about, well, the last statistic I saw said there's about 550,000 homeless people in the United States. And I know that's not true. There's more than that. But about 49% of those killed by police last year were homeless. Now, the figures that I was looking at were around 400,000. In 2019, depending on which numbers you look at, I chose the conservative numbers. Why did I choose the conservative numbers? Because even though the police actually killed a little over 2,000 people last year, the numbers or records according to them is non-existent. Imagine that. Independent studies have to be made because the police don't keep a record of their own wrongdoing. All police in America prey on the homeless. All of them. You can't be a police officer unless you're willing to enforce immoral laws. If you're getting paid to do something immoral, I can't trust you. Now, why don't I trust Dual County Sheriff's Department? Because they have repeatedly done nothing about the harm that I have to endure. Repeatedly. Meanwhile, I have to depend on people like Graham, who we got to do what he wants. When he came to Chapel, Nebraska, he was the one with the vehicle and he wanted to go home. I understand that. So I take my statement to the door. And then we went back to Tabby's in Longmont. If I spend that money, are you going to help me? Tabby, if I give you money for rent, are you going to tell the truth? No, didn't think so, but I still gave you the money for rent, didn't I? Graham, if I pay you to sit with me and go through evidence, are you gonna? Oh, no, you're not, and it doesn't matter because that's what you were paid for. Stephanie Mejia, I didn't pay her any money to help me sit through that stuff. I would have liked to, but that all got taken by the cops here in town and in Scottsbluff. With my phone being broken, I mean, literally, my only chance of my hell ever ending is blowing my head off. Chris Stegeman isn't gonna go in with me. Shit, he can't even stay sober. Floyd Stegeman's not gonna go in with me. Floyd knew what was going on out there. He saw it. He just doesn't care. See, that's the thing. People don't want to get involved. Well, if you don't want to get involved, you shouldn't have stuck your nose in it. If you were there, you're a witness, plain and simple. Aaron Stegeman, he could go in with me for my safety. He could find the time, but he made it pretty obvious he's not going to. Elizabeth, you still here? We're gonna look up another one. It's called Four Peaches. The Liar. Each one of these people that I'm angry at them because their testimony would have made all the difference in the world. but they didn't say anything. They didn't show up in court. They didn't speak up. They didn't go in with me to make a report. Anyway, here's the link to, let me see, right click, copy link address, and Miss Peaches, or 4 Peaches the Liar. You don't have to bother with the video itself because it's just me bitching about Miss Peaches, but attached to the comments is 116 conversations with witnesses. Now, when you look at it, it might only say comments 116, but not show you any. Click on the word comments and it'll show them to you. I guess I should take, since I have internet access here, I suppose I should hold the phone up to the camera here. It's faster than editing it. Giveaway day 2, Star Trek Online. Recommend. Sorry, I'm a Trekkie. Actually, I shouldn't apologize for that. There are lots of total nerd status type people. But we're going to go to YouTube. God, I got some gas. USS Vancouver, first look. Lower decks. Very cool. So what are we looking for? First, we'll go to 4 Peaches the Liar. Now this phone, I put a different account attached to it. That way I had to actually create a new account for this one. That way I could have it separate from my other one so that I could collect more evidence and not have them all mashed into the same thing, because then there's not as much space. Hope that's not it. Let's see, 4 Peaches the Liar. Let me see. People keep claiming that I slander them for putting their words up. Here it is, 4 Peaches the Liar. Alright, so I extolled. Of course, that's not the part we're looking for, is it? Comments. There's 116 comments. Now on my phone, it doesn't appear to want to show them for some odd reason. What a pain in the grain. But if I could get the charger for this computer, then I could use it and turn it around and show it to you. But on a computer, you can look at those comments. The other one is not in the comments, the actual comment section. It's in the live feed section. So if you want to see all of them, you'll have to scroll all the way to almost the very end of it. But that one is Pastor Rod Wright. And those ones won't be in the main comment section. It'll be in the live feed section off to the right-hand side. And there are a lot of links there too. Now, these people, the things that are in those conversations, if they'd come forward with me and said those things to begin with, it would have made all the difference in the world. If they didn't, they procrastinated. They didn't care because I'm not real family. Miss Peaches called me family. She didn't treat me like family. Family wouldn't have to beg her to tell the truth. You know, the longer it went on, the worse it got. I mean, I tried from the very beginning to explain what was going on, but just too busy blowing me off. All right, Seven Black Swans just messaged me, so I'm going to message her. She typed, okay, fine. Let her know. I'm making a live video right this moment with your name on it. You should watch it. Okay. Swan, let me know when you are on. When she gets on, I'll try to explain the things I was saying at the beginning. I guess Elizabeth's gone already. She sends me $20 a week. That's $80 a month to my PayPal. I mostly use it to try to get help. I spent $20 of that money pretty selfishly. I spent it on Star Trek Online. I did that while I was at Ventus's. It's not something I should have done. And it makes me selfish for getting something for myself. I didn't get these computers for me. I got them because they're needed. They are necessary. My evidence is mostly electronic. Um, oh, that's not right. Let's see. You sent a payment of $5.99 USD to CBS All Access. Oh yeah. There's a lot of stuff that I need access to that apparently CBS has access to and nobody else does. How insane is that? I think it's stupid. It's going to cost me $5.99 a month to have access. On the bright side, I can watch Star Trek Lower Decks. That money wasn't spent selfishly. Thing is, I've spent thousands of dollars paying my predators for preying. I can't take care of myself. God damn it. People keep harming me. God fucking damn it. And I can't get anyone in person to do anything. They don't fucking care. Aaron Stegeman doesn't care. Chris Stegeman doesn't care. Floyd Stegeman doesn't care. Wendell McPhee doesn't care. All of them are witnesses. And then there's people like Polly Olson. I went in there to try to explain things to Polly Olson, and she wanted to throw it in my face about low income. Polly Olson, you can kiss my ass. On Monday, I'm going to go in there with my recording device here. I'm going to point it right at your face, which is my legal right, because you're a public official. You work in the courthouse. It's perfectly legal for me to record you. And I'm going to ask you how much you actually know about the situation with me losing my housing up there, or the situation surrounding it. I have to be afraid to go to the police because of the things that the police did before and after Natalie died. In 2018, the cops just wouldn't turn on their body cameras. For some reason, the cops were incapable of turning on their body cameras. Cops only turn off their body cameras when they're going to commit a felony, when they're going to break the law. If they're going to a rich person's house, they turn on that body camera so that they're going to kiss that person's ass, first of all. If they show up at a rich person's house, the police are going to be all, give me some brown lips. I'll have the poo-poo platter. But then, after dealing with those people and having their body camera turned on so that if something happens and those rich people who have the money for a lawyer decide to outright lie, well, at least it's on camera. Now, then there's the other side of it. When you're homeless, they will instigate you and then turn on their body camera and charge you with use of fighting words. They might not even turn on their camera because when you're homeless, it's your word versus the cops. And no judge gives a fuck about the homeless, not one. There isn't a judge in America who has shown that he gives a shit about the homeless. Half of those killed by police last year were disabled. Well, a little over half, about 51%. About 49% of them are homeless. 51% are disabled. And there are 60 million disabled people and only 400,000. There's 60 million disabled people and over 400,000 homeless people. We'll round it up to 500,000. And the last statistics that I saw said it's actually 550,000. Why are those numbers going up? And why have they gone up over 100,000 people in just 1 year? Mostly because the government doesn't give a shit about you. They care about pretending to work for 96 days a year for $180,000 and free everything. This country is not run by the most qualified. It is run by the most privileged. Take a look at Donald Trump. Privilege. Take a look at our current president, Joe Biden. Privilege. Take a look at Bill Clinton. Privilege. George Bush Sr. Privilege. George Bush Jr. Privilege. Now, why didn't I bring up Barack Obama? I am bringing up Barack Obama. Privilege. Now, let's take a look at the Bush family. Two of them have been the president. Senior actually fought in World War II. He was shot down. Had to do some swimming. So he was active. Now let's take a look at Junior. Junior was his job was to fly the airspace over Texas in Vietnam. He should have been sent to Vietnam, but privilege. All of you guys have all these great ideas, but you're not here to help. You can tell me what it is that you think I should do. Kind of like Todd Ryan Case. He's like, well, you didn't do what I told you to. Dude, you don't know what the fuck is going on. You were too fucked up on ketamine. Matter of fact, let's see. Oh, yeah, that doesn't work. You see how often I forget that doesn't work? Let's see. I suppose I should be looking it up on my channel in specific. That would make it easier. Forget how to do that, but your videos. Let's see if that works. I can barely function well enough to speak. I need someone here in person to see this. Here's one called When They See It With Their Own Eyes. This one is about Meg for the most part. So I'll post that one up for y'all. I know that the two people who watch my videos the most are both trolls. They're both people who hate me and they hit the dislike button on every single video. Every single one. Yes, my predators watch my YouTube channel. All of them? No. There are lots of people who, when I was singing their praises, didn't even know that I was talking about them. But, and this is a big but, when I'm angry with them because they did something fucked up, somebody sends it to them. Somebody gets a hold of them and sends them the videos where I'm pissed off. Doesn't bother sending them any of the stuff that I said about any of the good things they did. Miss Peaches is under the impression that all I did was talk shit. Miss Peaches, I sang your praises. I sang your praises for 2 years. 2 years, Miss Peaches. I told the truth about that situation, and you verified that truth on my YouTube channel. Why am I pissed off at you? Because you never came forward in court. When you said that you would go in with me to talk to the cops, you made minimal effort, and you made sure that the only time that you ever actually tried was when you knew that it was going to be too late. Let's see. Oh, that took us to the wrong one. I have to click on the actual video to do that. Let me see. All right. Right click, copy video URL, and put her on the live stream. Paste. I had some of those little pizza roll things, so I'm going to have to hit the toilet here shortly. I'm sorry about that. Apparently, Swan's not going to be on. The thing is that you guys have all sorts of good ideas. Sean, you should spend your money on this. Sean, you should spend your money on that. Sean, you shouldn't spend your money at all. You shouldn't give these people money. You shouldn't give those people money. I need help in person. I'm spending this money to get help in person. When I traveled all the way to Shannon Alvarado's twice, I went there for help in person. When I went to my dad's, I went there to get help in person. When I went to Miss Peach's, I went there to get help in person. When I went to see my public pretenders and their investigators, I went there to get help in person. At those hospitals, I made those people all aware, don't put those drugs in me. They intentionally tortured me. Taking me to jail and treating me like that makes me want to kill myself. Now, I don't go running around trying to kill myself all the time. I don't. I'm going to these police for help. Now, if somebody goes in with you and you're explaining that these people are bullying you to the point that you are at the end of your rope, if somebody's there with you, then they might investigate the bullies. If you go in alone, they're going to send you to a nuthatch. I need people to speak up. A lot of people keep saying, oh, no, don't do that. It's not worth it. What's not worth it? My life is torture. It's financial torture. It's physical torture. It is mental torture. I'd like to have a friend who actually cares about what's going on. Star Mejia, she cared about what was going on when we were in Scotts Bluff. However, when we got to Ventus's, she didn't care what I had to say. She didn't give a shit. She was too busy being all up on Ventus's nuts. I spoke to her 3 times about it. Hey, Star, I need you to do what it is that you came here for. I need you to sit down with me and look at evidence and help me organize it like you said that you would, instead of you going over and riding Ventus's dick while Juan does all the work. Juan did do all the work, all of it. All 1,800 pictures. Juan Santana took 1,800 pictures. It took him 2 days to do that. Juan did the work. Juan was only doing it to make Star happy. And as soon as he was done taking those pictures, she did what Ventus wanted and threw him away like trash. I still needed Juan's help because Star wasn't going to help. That was pretty obvious. And I got it recorded. There's a couple of times where she comes in and offers to help. And I am totally down with her help. But she didn't help for long. She got bored because she wanted to go hang out with Ventus. So she got up and hung out with Ventus, and they started ghetto blasting music. Another time she offered to help, I was waiting for Meg to call back, and Meg never called back. She apologized for not calling back, but we waited for a few hours and then realized that Meg wasn't going to call back, and Star did offer to help. She said, "Do you need some help?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." And then she went in and sat next to Ventus. I'm not going to fight for attention like that. Star was supposed to be there to help me, not to be all up on Ventus's nuts. Ventus says he's not into control mechanisms. That's all he did there. Manipulate Star. Non-stop manipulating Star. And she is a cutter. She ate that shit up. Star cuts on herself if she doesn't get attention. She just wants attention for attention's sake. That's all she wants. Now, don't get me wrong, she started cutting on herself because of something pretty severe. That's what it takes. But she's a surface cutter. Surface cutters cut for attention. Deep cutters cut to get rid of the pain. Star made sure that she cut herself where everyone could see it. And then she made sure that she wore clothes so that everyone could see it. That is for attention. Just for attention. If people weren't paying attention to Star, she would go cry or she would cut on herself. When it came to her actually sitting down and paying attention to what was going on with me, yeah, no. She did for a bit there, but didn't last long. The cops and the courts took advantage of my disabilities as an excuse. Now, they tried to have the hospitals diagnose me with stuff to justify their crimes, and they did that repeatedly. The hospitals will do what the cops ask them to do. If the cops ask them to diagnose you as schizophrenic, the hospitals will do that. Now, they're not going to write down anything other than that because there's nothing that they can write down that would make it look like I was schizophrenic at all. They can't write down Sean was talking about purple dinosaurs. No, but the things that I was telling them about was police misconduct. Police misconduct. But the police, back in 2018, they didn't have to have their body cameras on. They kept on turning them off. I needed someone there in person If someone was there in person, they could verify it. If someone was there in person, those police are less likely to get violent. Now, there's a thing with Rollins PD. Actually, there's a couple of them. One of them where I tried to turn in Brianna for those children's safety. And one where the cops showed up and were complete and total douchebags. No matter what, everything I did was the wrong thing to do. If I go in person, then I should have done it on the internet. But I need help to do it on the internet. I need help doing it in person. Either one of those I could do with help, but I need help. People keep making excuses not to look. I'm asking them to look. They're saying stuff like, well, I'm not that smart. You don't have to be smart. You don't. I can show you everything that you need to see for you to understand, but you have to stop and look. Before Natalie died, I was offering $20 an hour for someone to help me. For a disabled person who only gets $700 a month at the time, that's a lot of money. I've been trying to get help this whole time. There is too much to go through, and I am overwhelmed, so I shut down. It's not really safe for me to make a report at Pump and Pantry because there isn't going to be someone who cares about my safety who's going to stop those cops if they try to do something messed up. Don't get me wrong, Summer is not mean to me. She hasn't done me any wrong. She laughs at my jokes. But she's not going to sit there with me, and if the cops start being hostile towards me, she's not going to speak up. At least I don't believe she's gonna. I hope she would. I'm gonna see what time Wright's church opens. Um, let's see, what's the name of this church? Solid Rock Bible. You know, I'm actually gonna subscribe to his YouTube channel. Oh, that's not it. That's a link to the video I just made. That's weird. Meet the pastor, Solid Rock Bible Church. Home, about us, events, blog, give, listen online, contact us. It's got a picture of Wright and his wife. It says at the bottom, but don't just listen to God's word. You must do what it says. Otherwise, you are only fooling yourselves. James 1:22. Well, that's why I always profess by mouth. I admit my sins. I admit my wrongs, every one of them. Are you talking about Jesus because you're trying to get money out of people, or are you talking about Jesus because you actually believe in Jesus? We'll find out today. Let's see. Here's my Facebook. Let's see if Wright has seen it. No, he hasn't. And his daughter has not seen the video yet either. Laura Nelson hasn't blocked me, but I sent her a thing from Pastor Wright too. Laura Nelson and I used to be friends, but she was too much of a coward to come forward and tell the truth. See, all these people with families that needed my help because they got kids. When I needed help, they used their kids as an excuse not to. As a result, my predators got to do whatever they wanted. You're good. You need to go potty? All right. Sorry, guys, I gotta go.